Let's talk about QuickMove in a screen handler. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. If you ever played Minecraft and opened something like the vanilla chest, you notice that you can hold the shift down and click on any item in your player's inventory and the item stack will jump into the chest, or vice versa. You can shift click on an item stack in the chest, and if you have place in your hotbar or in your inventory, the item will go back and sit in your inventory. The thing that is responsible to handle this logic is the quick move method in the screen handler. Now, I'm not gonna write it because guess what? We have an abstract class that is already fixing this problem for us. So I will remove this junk thing that I added here, and I will comment this line. I will remove the block entity section. I will remove the block entity event, and I will remove this get block entity from here. Now you may say that, hey, wait, our screen renderer is asking for that get block entity. Yes, don't worry. Now, at this point, we only have a screen handler with nothing in it. So I will remove these, I will remove the inventory, everything else. And yes, I don't have any slots here, so I will remove the slots. And now I'm gonna utilize my own library. I will call abstract screen handler. And as you see, abstract screen handler comes from Jiraiya glib client. Okay, and this is generic. So I need to add the block entity type, and that is gem cleaner BE. Now, I will remove the constructors, or actually let me comment them. And finally, I can say, you know what? We need to implement the methods. The methods are add slots, get inventory size, get valid blocks, and get player inventory wide level. Okay, and finally it says that, hey, please create the constructor. Now I will create all three of them, okay? And this way I have a constructor that accepts the type, the player inventory, sync ID, player inventory, payload, and block entity class. However, I will remove the type. I will remove the type, and I will remove the type. And you see that all of them are calling the super. For the type, we already have the type. If I want to add the type as the screen handler type, I can go with mod screen handlers dot gem cleaner. That is our type actually. Okay, so Control C, Control V, Control V. And now I have the constructors that I need. If you notice, we had one that was sync ID, player inventory, and the payload, and we don't have it anymore. However, we had sync ID, player inventory, and block entity. Well, we have that one. So let me get rid of this. And what did I do? I did remove this guy. Okay, so cut that, paste it, and get rid of this one. Now we have this situation that needs to be covered, and you see that we are accepting block entity or the cached BE. However, let's take a look at our registries, and that is mod screen handlers. You see that we have problem here with this new because the factory is not properly handled and we dropped this guy. Okay, this is correct. However, we don't have this constructor, so let's create that constructor and see what I'm missing. So this is sync ID, the player inventory, and block pause of block pause payload. Now here we need to have at least one of these super calls. Okay, and we have this block entity class. Let's take a look at our super. It adds the cached block entity, and yes, we have this one that accepts the block entity. So we can call this one. So we say super that accepts the type. Actually, we have this block entity. So we call this with the, let's call this one sync properly, sync ID, player inventory, and then we need the payload. However, we can say player inventory dot player dot, actually, can't we get the word directly? No, okay. Player dot word, get word, dot get block entity at block pose payload dot pop. So now we need to directly typecast this guy to the gem cleaner BE. So gem cleaner BE, and that would be it. I may have to add this overload into my abstract class. I forgot about this one. And honestly, it's a little bit of a headache, but this is the boilerplate. Let's now move forward because this should work now. And inside our screen handler, other than having these constructors, we can get rid of the other stuff. So we have this one. Now we can get rid of QuickMove, and you will see why in a few minutes. We can get rid of can use. The only remaining thing is the things that we get from abstract screen handler. Now, why did I remove the QuickMove? Because I already had implemented the whole logic, and can use is actually the proper thing of this. So we check if the block is valid, and then, you know, for valid blocks, we just check if the player can use that block or not, and then we return it. So we don't need to use that logic anymore and overwrite it. That's okay. Now let's take a look at this QuickMove, because if you don't want to use my library, you can of course pause the video and write this can use yourself inside your screen. That's a very solid logic there. And this can move is actually a solid logic there too. So we have some things here, so don't worry about that. We will take a look at that later. But here's the thing. We first create a new empty items. Then we get the slot from the index from our slots. And if it doesn't have any stack, well, guess what? We return the empty stack. We don't care. If the thing that we clicked on has any item stack in it, we want to get the stack in the slot. Okay? That's the responsibility of this line. Then we make a deep copy of that stack and add it to the new stack. Now, we have two different conditions. Either we clicked inside the block entities inventory, or reverse, we are clicking on the player's inventory. This is checking if the index of the slot is less than the inventory size on the block entity. Means that we click inside the block entities inventory. Then we want to move the stack from the block entity to the player's inventory. But we have an order here. We have a hotbar and the inventory. So we first try to put it inside the hotbar. If we can't put it inside the hotbar, this is the whole thing, then we will try to put it inside the player's inventory above the hotbar. If we succeed here, then we just return empty stack for the slot that we clicked in. Otherwise, if it didn't succeed anyway, we check if we are clicking on the player's inventory. Then of course we want to insert the items into the block entity, and we will go in the order. We start with this 0 index and we go all the way to the end. If we can put it there, then we return item stacks empty. Okay. Finally, if we are the empty stack in the slot, we set the slot to be the empty one. Otherwise, we mark the slot to be dirty and we return the tweaked and moved around item stack that we have as the final result. This is a very solid logic that you just need to write once and then copy paste it over and over. So if you want the code to copy paste from it, look into the repository. The repository's link is in Discord, and the link for the Discord is in the video's description. If you want to, you can pause the video and start typing. So I will scroll to the right so that you can see the rest in 1, 2, 3. And this is the rest of the code for the second part of this if statement. Now, in my source code, this is broken into a new line. However, when you want to decompile the code, things like the styling can be messed up. Okay, now that we have the QuickMove, we have the can use, and take note, we have this get block entity, so we don't need to write it again. We have few methods that we need to write. Now, get player Y is easy. Let's start with the easy ones. The player Y is talking about the player's inventory Y value here, and that is 107. So let's go back into our handler. Get player Y 107. Then we want the valid blocks. Now this is mod blocks dot gem cleaner. This is the valid block that we want to click on it. Okay. Add the slots. This is where we will add. So to do add slots for B. Get inventory size finally is the one that is telling the system how many slots we have in the inventory. So let's go with 0. 3 for the upgrades, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So we have 7 slots in our inventory, and right now we are using our abstract class to add anything to this inventory. From this point forward, all we have to do is add the inventory to the block entity first, then come here and add the proper slots for those slots in the inventory. So in the next video, we will come back and talk about inventories in block entity. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun, everyone. Bye.